It was a tremendous sound, and I've heard people say it sounds like a train, and that is a true fact.
Wednesday night prayers interrupted by the roar of a storm. March 30th, 2016, a tornado rips the roof off a North Tulsa church. Now, 1 year later, as Corey Duke shows us, the destruction at Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church still remains.
The gates of this church seem foreign. A lock and chain close off what was once an open sanctuary.
It has been a trial. We have, our membership has dwindled some and people have gotten discouraged.
Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church faced its tribulation on March 30th, 2016, when a tornado brought destruction and grief to North Tulsa.
We all just bunched in here and hugged each other and prayed.
A prayer group holding tight to its faith as walls began to shake and the roof tore to pieces, exposing the night sky.
The tornado lifted the thing up. It literally tore it. See that there's a hole where the bolt ran through? It pulled it up out of the thing, bolt and all.
And much like the beams of this structure, the church family also left feeling weak.
We've done all that we could. We fought tooth and nail with the insurance company.
The reality is, after all the damage, insurance quotes just aren't enough to get the church back to where it was.
This is an environmental hazard. This has to be cleaned professionally.
Black mold scales the walls as moisture and water creeps in through damaged ceilings.
The mold is everywhere, so we've got to gut all the drywall, all the wood, all that has to go.
But as the Bible says, with destruction comes creation, and patience is key in times of trouble.
In the final analysis, is God's work, is God's church, and I trust that He's going to work things out.
The road ahead still winding, but as long as this cross remains on these church walls,
well, I'm incredulous at people that question God's existence.
the faith of renewing this building stays strong.
You live through something like this, and it ain't just luck.
In North Tulsa, Corey Duke, 2Works for You.
Spring thunderstorms can hit hard, like this one last May in Bristow. So we go to work for you to determine what to expect during the upcoming spring storm season. Let's start with this. This year, the ocean waters in the eastern Pacific are near average. That means in 2017, there is no El Nino, there is no La Nina. Researchers consider these neutral conditions, and it's expected to last all spring. That means a better chance to experience a normal spring here in Oklahoma. But normal is always relative, isn't it? But it means in this case that we won't likely see more tornado days, but those days could be bigger. Once again, to come up with the spring forecast, we use breakthrough technology called the Lezak recurring cycle, or LRC theory. It nails down when the big storms could hit. Basically, it says the weather operates on a pattern. And by tracking these waves of energy as they move around the globe, we can predict when they will return to the United States. This year's pattern is repeating roughly every 8 weeks. This year's 8-week cycle means we will have well above average temperatures. It might be the second warmest on record. And because we have to wait so long between storms, our drought might increase as we experience below average rainfall. Let's apply the LRC and pinpoint the days to watch. Mid and late April, May becomes more active with at least 3 setups for severe weather outbreaks. So here's the forecast. Much warmer than average and drier than average. Still ahead, the safest places to be when lightning strikes. Plus, the dangers of flooding, the surprisingly small amount of water that could wash your car away. And we've all heard them, but do you know what the different storm sirens mean? Find out ahead on 2Works for You, Weathering the Storm. The sound of sorrow in Claremore, the community paying its respects to a firefighter who died trying to save people from flash flooding. Captain Jason Farley slipped into a drainage ditch and drowned. His wife and teenage daughter forced to adjust to life without him. The incident is a sad reminder of just how dangerous flooding can be. In fact, flooding is the #1 severe weather-related killer in the United States, even above tornadoes. And as 2Works for You anchor Daniel Wynn shows us, it's especially dangerous when vehicles are involved.
December 2015, 5 Oklahomans killed in flash flooding over Christmas weekend. June 2016, nearly 24 people killed in West Virginia, homes washed away, bridges destroyed. More than half of all flash flooding deaths are vehicle-related, and it only takes a little water to cause some big problems. For example, just 1 foot of water will take away a small car. And 2 feet of water will take away most vehicles, including SUVs. The driver of this vehicle found out the hard way. So remember, if you come across a water-covered roadway, turn around and find a different route. It could save your life. Daniel Wynn, 2Works for You.
Another threat during severe weather season is lightning. Lightning strikes about 400 people every year. Storm Shield meteorologist Brandon Woolley shows you how to stay safe.
So here are some lightning tips and some safety precautions here. So trees, lightning is attracted to very tall objects, of course, we all know that. Inside is safer during severe thunderstorms, but stay away from windows if you can. That's a pretty dangerous spot. To the back side of the property here, especially in the backyard, if you're enjoying the backyard or if you're in the pool, when you hear thunder, you want to head inside immediately during a severe thunderstorm. Now, if you have your car out at an event and you have thunderstorms coming in, the car does provide some protection from lightning, not the best, but some. Inside is definitely the best bet inside a home or a shelter, and stay away from metal objects if you can, but the car should be okay during severe lightning storms. Back over to you.
The exact wind speeds inside a tornado are very hard to determine, so scientists have come up with a scale to estimate just how strong those winds are. Storm Shield meteorologist Taft Price introduces us to the enhanced Fujita scale.
And the EF scale is the way that we determine the strength of tornadoes. Now the scale is from EF0, the weakest, to EF5, the strongest. Let's take a look at an EF0. And again, winds about 65 to 85 miles per hour. We can see some shingles that are blown off, damage to some of the siding, and some of the branches can be broken off. And small trees, they can be pushed over with those EF0 winds. Then we go up to an EF1 tornado. That damage about 86 to 110 miles per hour. We're going to see more significant roof damage. Also, exterior doors can be damaged and windows are broken. And finally, mobile homes can be overturned with those EF1 winds. Then as we jump up to an EF2, that's winds of 111 to 135 miles per hour. Roofs could be torn off of well-constructed homes, and those homes can also be shifted off of their foundations. Large trees snapped or uprooted, and cars, at least some small cars, could be tossed in those EF2 winds. Then up to EF3, tornado damage, we're seeing winds of 136 to 165 miles per hour. Entire stories of homes can be destroyed, and homes that are on weak foundations could be swept away. Significant damage to large buildings and trees, they begin to lose their bark. Up to EF4, strong tornado, 166 to 200 mile per hour winds. You notice well-constructed homes are going to be destroyed, cars thrown significant distances, small missiles are generated, and trees start to become debarked. Now, the largest that we have, EF5, that tornado damage with winds over 200 miles per hour. Well-constructed homes are wiped off of their foundations, cars thrown hundreds of yards, high-rise buildings sustain severe damage, and trees are completely debarked. Remember that the EF scale is based on the degree of damage caused by a tornado, so the physical size of a tornado does not determine its EF rating. EF ratings are usually assigned to tornadoes within 24 to 48 hours after the damage survey has occurred.
During severe weather season, you'll often hear us talk about watches and warnings. Storm Shield meteorologist Kirsten Horn explains the difference.
I'm meteorologist Kirsten Horn. As the spring season approaches, we have severe weather that, of course, comes across green country. We'll issue watches and warnings all the time, and it's important for you to know the difference between the two. A lot of people don't know the difference, so we're going to break those down for you so you understand. What does a watch mean? Well, a watch means that the conditions are favorable for dangerous weather to occur. It also, one way you can kind of remember this too is that a watch means that you need to watch out. You need to be aware of what's going on in your area. And also be ready to act in case that watch does get upgraded to a warning. So what does a warning mean? Well, it means that dangerous weather is occurring in your area. At that point, you need to know, are you in the path of the storm? And if you are, take cover at that time. It's important to know ahead of time what your safe place is. We'll tell you if you're in that path of the storm. We'll tell you, get to your safe place. Know where that is in your home. Know where that is at your workplace, at your school, and make sure you take cover then at that point, because again, that dangerous weather is occurring at that time. Another way you can keep updated is to download our Storm Shield app. It will always let you know watches or warnings that are taking place in your area.
It's a sound you're never prepared to hear, but many people say they don't even know what to do when they hear a siren. And even fewer know there is more than one kind of siren that can be issued. They don't all warn you of an incoming tornado. In fact, some can even warn you of something worse. 2Works for You anchor Shara Kimiko explains.
If you're from green country, this is the siren you've probably heard at least once in your life, and you know what it means, but it's usually not something you think about until they go off. The Tulsa Area Emergency Management Agency is the group in charge of letting us know when it's time to take cover. But what you may not know is that if the siren stops, it doesn't mean that the threat is over. Sirens are only designed to last for 3 minutes, just to get your attention. So if you hear one, go inside and find out what's happening from our Storm Shield meteorologists, either on air or online.
A standard tone siren is used for a tornado alert, but it can also warn us if there's a possible chemical agent in the air. And that's not the only tone that's used to alert us.
If you hear this, there's an impending flood, and here's one we'll hopefully never hear. That's a warning about a nuclear attack. If the weather is clear, Tulsa tests tornado sirens every Wednesday at noon. Shara Kimiko, 2Works for You.
There are ways to protect your home from severe weather still ahead. A look at fortified homes and whether the investment is really worth it. Plus, why what you do after a tornado can be just as important as what you do before the storm hits. That's next on 2Works for You, Weathering the Storm.